January 15th, Saturday. 10 o'clock? I examined the clock on my cell phone and confirmed for myself that it is indeed that time showing on the display. It was Friday yesterday. My return to Kyosha after the long break was chaotic as always. I had to deal with Mari-san unreasonably scolding me, as well as a rather cryptic comment from Suzuki-san saying, "You neglected her." And it was 8 a.m. before I got home without being able to make sense of it all. And it's Saturday today. I'm supposed to have the rest of the week off, which is why I decided to laze around, not think about anything, and sleep for today. Koharu speaking. As I rub and open my sleepy eyes, I notice the keychain on the bed that Mari-san gave me in her fit of anger as a souvenir from Guam, which was about as distasteful as one would expect. Seems like one of the main reasons she got mad at me was that I didn't even know she had gone overseas to do an interview at the end of last year.
Koharu-san? Thank goodness I managed to reach you.
See ya. Good night.
I'm begging you, please wake up.
My day off, consisting of purposefully not thinking of anything, has been cut short by a phone number that I've become so used to seeing since last week.
Voicemail for the number.
Ugh. Sugiura, what's the matter with you? Oh, Koharu-san! I love you! You would be the man I wanted to hug the most if I had to take a questionnaire right now. How did this happen? Expectedly, the restaurant didn't seem to have many seats filled immediately after opening, but it was perplexing that the staff present seemed to be at their wits' end about the situation. It's just like I told you on the phone. We don't have close to enough staff to work in the hall. I won't let you go. I won't ever let you go. Come on, let's die together. I pushed away the floor manager, who was clinging to me with teary eyes before taking a quick glance around the interior of the restaurant. But there's only Nakagawa-san here. That's what I told you over the phone. That's why we need your help. How did the roster become like this? At least 3 people should be working here. I did make sure to arrange a shift of 3, but I didn't expect that 2 of the said 3 staff members to suddenly become unavailable. We could have managed somehow if at least 1 other person was present. How did this happen? That's about all Sato tried to tell me when he called me on the brink of tears. Rather, I'd say he was already crying by then. To be even more specific, he apparently received a call about 30 minutes before opening hours. On the other end of that call was Shimamoto-san, who was struggling to even say he was unable to get up because of a high fever of 39 degrees Celsius. The floor staff was reduced to 2 people from the original 3 available, but no one seemed to be alarmed at this point in time. That's because it was floor manager Nakagawa's shift that day, along with who was considered the most reliable staff member, and who was the least likely to be late or slack off from work. Has Sugiura yet to call? It just goes to voicemail, even when I tried calling her. Seems like her phone is off. Nobody could have imagined that she would be absent without contacting anyone. Well, it's gotta be because of that, right? Her mentor is not taking shifts anymore, so the spark in her heart must have died out. That's why we called you over. We figured that if her boyfriend happened to come back to work, she'd pick up his scent and come back too. This has nothing to do with me. I'm neither her mentor nor her boyfriend. And you guys should know that you're being really disrespectful to her. As much as I'm complaining, I'm fully aware that I have no choice but to help out. As her trainer, I have to take responsibility for how she's absent from work without notifying the restaurant. If it was Sugiyara, I would be worried she was dead in a ditch somewhere because she no-called no-showed. Though I do intend to reprimand those who assigned me to be her trainer after work. But still, why? Really, what in the world has gotten into you, Sugiyara? The 2 hours that followed were a living hell. Apart from the difficulty of having to work with only 2 people available, I wasn't able to work efficiently given my lack of sleep from the exhaustion I had to deal with yesterday. Now, I usually am capable of handling such a level of fatigue when I manage to concentrate. It's just that I'm unable to forget about everything and devote myself to work right now. Thank you for the wait. May I take your order? This is the Minami Suetsugo Goodies Restaurant. Thank you for your
I'd
patronage.
like an A set with the roasted rib steak.
Would you like rice or bread with that?
Sugiyara-san, are you at
Rice.
home? Are you alright?
Super salad.
Soup. The clam chowder.
Yeah.
Ah, I see. It must be hard on you.
I'll have a spaghetti bolognese. I'll also have a mixed pizza. I'll have the drink set as well.
How are you feeling right now? Yeah. I see.
That's it for my order. Certainly. I'll repeat your order then.
Yeah, well, I suppose it's best that you don't force yourself to come today.
Roasted rib steak with a A set and rice and minestrone soup.
No, it's clam chowder.
Excuse me, clam chowder and...
Let's see. It was really busy at one point, but now we are able to get by somehow.
raspberry parfait, Caesar salad with a drink set. No, only the drink set was correct, and there's no salad in the set in the first place.
Yeah. Apparently Shimato-san's in the same boat as you. Influenza is really going around, isn't it?
Sir. Yeah? My deepest apologies. I'll call over another server immediately. Nakagawa-san, please take the order from table 8. I'm taking a 3-minute break. What a disgrace. I would have been absolutely furious if I were the trainer right now. But right now, I know that I'd be done for if I say that I just can't help it. But I really can't help it, can I? After all...
Like I said, everything's fine now. The only one who is capable of replacing you is...
Give me the phone! Sugiyara, where are you, and what in the world have you been up to?
Senpai.
I've been worried about her this whole time and was incapable of concentrating on work because of it.
But why? I thought you didn't have a shift today?
That's not really important right now, is it?
It seems like she just woke up.
You overslept? You actually overslept? Can you even be called Sugiyara Koharu after such a mistake?
Senpai?
That's why I was unable to resist lecturing her upon the incredible relief when I heard her voice on the other end of the line. She might have overslept, but her fever has been around 38 degrees Celsius since last night. Quiet, you. I'm talking with Sugiyara. Understood. This decoration of acting manager will remain silent.
I'm sorry for causing everyone so much trouble.
There's nothing you could have done if you're sick. I'm sorry for shouting at you.
I'm sorry.
That's why I was completely unaware that her voice was trembling ever so slightly. Even so, If you weren't feeling well since yesterday, you should have contacted us earlier so we could have made arrangements.
But, Senpai, you said you weren't coming anymore, so I felt as if you were trying to avoid me?
I didn't mean me specifically. You could have called the restaurant, or maybe Sato or Nakagawa-san.
I really am sorry.
Anyway, if that's the case, just rest for today. Is your family home? After hearing her reasoning, my head, which boiled up all of a sudden only moments ago, cooled down just as quickly in relief. Do you have any medicine? Did you eat properly? If there's something you need, I can deliver it to you on my way home.
Senpai?
What is it? Perhaps the reason why I got so angry at her, but cooled down in a matter of seconds, was because I felt a sense of guilt.
Senpai, will you be there for the whole day?
Yeah, I imagine Nakagawa-san would kill me if I tried to leave. Sato and me both.
No, seriously, I'm begging for you not to leave, alright?
I felt as if you were trying to avoid me. After all, the person in question has already noticed.
Senpai?
What is it?
I'll head over right now.
Huh? That's why the moment I decide not to press the issue further and think about visiting her to atone for what I've done.
You don't have enough staff, right? I'll be there within 30 minutes.
The situation unfolds in an unexpected direction, yet again. What are you saying? Don't you have a bad cold?
I've already recovered from the cold. I slept until noon, so my fever has subsided.
It's not merely about yourself. What will you do if others get infected? Do you want to wipe out everyone else working the shift?
Didn't I say that I've recovered already? Besides, I'm confident I won't get anyone else sick. After all...
What? Don't just hang up, Sugiura. Hey, wait a minute. Even though Sugiura only wanted to call to inform us that she was sick and wanted to take the day off, if she is able to arrive within 30 minutes after recovering, doesn't it mean that in just 3 minutes she completely recovered from her illness? That's just not normal at all.
I'm really sorry. I was wrong to have been late and not to have contacted anyone as soon as I could.
She really came. In exactly 30 minutes, no less.
You don't have to pay me today. That goes without saying, actually. So just let me work now, please.
Sugiura-san, if we don't pay you for your work, it will cause a lot of legal problems. Do you have to give her such a serious answer? She's changed her clothes within 5 minutes, although her skirt is a bit messy. Even so, her posture, complexion, voice, and the way she talks showed that she might be fine, as she said. You're not feeling well, are you? Still, she wasn't able to hide her pained expression.
That's not true. I'm fine, you know.
I can take your definition of fine at face value, Sugiura. That's why I could only rely on my intuition. I casually stretch out my hand to touch Sugiura's forehead and check her temperature. What are you doing? Just stand still for a minute. Despite her protest, she's finally keeping silent for a moment after making all that fuss up until now. And while I'm at it, you two should hurry back to your posts. She doesn't feel warm. Based on what I see and feel, there isn't any evidence to refute her statement of being fine. I was pretty sure that she was just acting tough. Was I just overthinking things? Unconvinced, I continue to touch Sugiura's forehead, causing her to make a rather odd expression. though her reaction doesn't suggest that it's stemming from being sick at all.
Someone who has a girlfriend shouldn't do things like this? Isn't this sexual harassment?
Then act like you're actually repulsed by it. What does having a girlfriend matter when it comes to sexual harassment? In the end, Sugiura went through my strict medical inspection and headed back to work in the dining hall as a result. And then, a few hours later, if I were to summarize it, Sugiura could only be described as someone suppressing her illness and forcing herself to work. Because, unlike how she usually was, she wasn't useful at all. She was spacing out and making a lot of mistakes. It was her worst performance yet, even including her first day working here. Things didn't go as planned today, did they?
I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused.
It's not that I'm blaming you. This is also my responsibility as your trainer, after all.
Responsibility, huh?
I was under the impression that you would understand that not every responsibility is accepted reluctantly, Sugiura. Sugiura seems to grow disheartened over even the slightest negative remark or action I've taken with her today. Perhaps it's because of our unexciting conversation that our steps on the way back home feel rather heavy. The truth is, you haven't fully recovered, right? You're just suppressing your fever using medicine, aren't you?
I'm not doing anything like that. After all, I'm really okay. I have no doubt about it. Please believe me, at least in that regard.
You're making it even more difficult for me by asking me to believe you. Not only did she not answer my question, she ended up making me worry even more.
I'm fine, okay?
On our way back, I walked her home as she trotted behind me silently as usual. No, only half of it was usual. My usual pace would be faster, and she would start lecturing me the very moment she found any openings she could exploit. However, our pace is incredibly slow today. Sugiura, I really think you should rest tomorrow.
Am I a nuisance right now?
No, I don't mean it that way.
Well, I guess it's obvious. I made countless mistakes today, after all. I troubled the customers, everyone else, and you as well, senpai.
I wouldn't ask you to rest just because of some mistakes. Rather, I'd tell you to make up for it by working twice as hard tomorrow. I'll work twice as hard tomorrow then? Like I said, it's not that. Your mistakes, your negative thinking, I think it's all because you're tired, Sugiura. Am I really that tired? I wouldn't know, even if you asked me. Ask your own body. We left the restaurant at the usual time, but 3 trains had passed after the one we normally take by the time we got there. It's usually a 15-minute walk from the station, but at this rate, it looks like it will take at least twice that long. We had to go through a repetitive cycle where Sugiura would stop in her tracks before I knew it, and I had to turn around to check on her many times. And yet, every time I asked if she was feeling ill, she just gave me the same answer. That's why you should get a good night's sleep tonight, and if possible, just stay at home and rest tomorrow too.
But the shift won't be operational if I'm not around? Isn't Shimamoto-san down with influenza as well?
I'll cover for you, just like today.
But senpai, you'll be busy for a while, And the final exams are going to start soon?
The thing is, even if I flunked everything, I'd still be able to advance to the next year. I'm also the hard-working type, just like you, Sugiura.
It'll all be fine, right?
Yeah, that's why you should just rest up and take care of yourself tomorrow. I'll let Seto know about this. My exams were just an excuse for me to run away in the first place. Still, how do I put this? I've told her about my exams in an attempt to avoid spending time with her like this. But divulging this just makes the endeavor feel meaningless.
Senpai, you will come, right?
Yeah, so you can rest easily.
I got it.
Take care.
Thank you very much.
Oh, whatever. With this, Sugiura won't come tomorrow. That's why, even if I go to Goodies, our time together, which I would unconsciously look forward to again, will... January 16th, Sunday. And then...
Good morning.
Hey.
I know I caused a lot of trouble yesterday. I slept soundly last night, so I'm completely fine this time. I'll do my best to make up for yesterday's mistakes.
No, Sugiura-san, you know.
I'll take my salary, so it won't be a problem, right?
How serious were you when you were preparing for your counter-arguments?
Today, including myself, we will still only have 3 people for the dining hall. Please carefully think through whether to dismiss me or let me work.
You two, why don't you say something? In spite of my meticulous planning, it seems like we'll be spending time together today after all. Why did you come? I said you should rest today.
I realized I'd feel better if I came to work.
Why?
I think you, of all people, should understand why that's the case, Senpai. Though I won't tell you the specific reason why.
Then I won't be able to understand you, will I?
I guess once on shore, one prays no more is right for just about everyone, huh?
In the end, it was just like she said. Sugiura didn't seem to be in particularly high spirits as usual, but she did show drastic improvements compared to her performance yesterday. January 21st, Friday. I guess this just about covers most of Building 3. All that's left to see is the library in Building 4 on the other side.
That's fine. Even if I do manage to get accepted, it's not like I'll actually go there at all within the 4 years I'll be here.
I see.
It's enough for you to have taken me around all the areas related to the literature department. Thank you very much for today, Koharu-san.
You can ask me to help you with stuff like this anytime. The person who's walking beside me this evening is neither a seminar colleague I'm familiar with or an old friend. And it's certainly not his older sister who I happen to meet every now and then.
Wow! A tour like this certainly increases my motivation. I can't believe that I'll be studying here starting in April.
Only if you pass the general entrance exam, that is.
Don't worry, the mock exam didn't feel so bad. Moreover, isn't this the university that even Dae-chan got into?
Your sister was excellent, you know. She didn't get removed from the recommendation list for one.
I don't know what you've heard from Dae-chan, but I really am doing my best. Believe in me, Koharu-san.
Yeah, well, I do, but... Anyway, good luck. Apparently, Takahiro decided to visit the university he's taking entrance exams for out of the blue, just yesterday. His sister, however, who he had arbitrarily designated to be his guide for the day, had to attend a seminar in the evening. Even so, the family didn't want to rain on Takahiro's parade, and so they came up with a solution after a meeting. Said solution being to promptly nominate a certain someone who everyone in the family was familiar with, someone who they could count on as a reliable substitute.
As I thought, Hosho is good. Decent city, decent outskirts, reasonably spacious, and reasonably new.
That's not something a student who attends the high school right next door should say. It took me quite a lot of courage to press the answer button when I received Setsuna's call last night for the first time in a while. Though the way Setsuna sounded so desperate, yet so unusually slow when I heard her voice from the receiver, really perplexed me.
Last week I toured some other universities. The city center ones had tall buildings, but their campuses felt very cramped, while the spacious ones were in the countryside with old school buildings.
Well, in that sense, here is in between. However, I could imagine Setsuna bowing apologetically many times on the other side of the call during our conversation, which warmed my heart. It wasn't a big deal, but she relied on me. Actually, from what I know about her family, it's possible that they didn't have any other choice apart from me in the first place. Though I'm happy to have been relied on by her family nonetheless. Though they never would have placed any faith in me if they were ever to find out about what I've done to their eldest daughter.
More than anything, I'd say that the girls here are just next level. I guess this is the most appealing bonus of Hosho University that various upperclassmen have done their best to facilitate.
Ugh. Your sister is right near the top of even that level, is what I instinctively want to reply with. But I stopped myself, realizing the sort of excessive backlash I might get.
And there's also quite a number of girls in the literature department. Is that why you changed departments, Kitahara-san? I imagine you must be fed up with Neichan by now.
I'm aiming to work in the publishing industry. That's all there is to it.
Why do you answer so seriously? Of course I'm joking.
What was considered a mere joke to the Ogiso family ended up piercing through my chest painfully. That's because I'm responsible for a lie that Setsuna's desperately held on to, even though the Ogiso family was supposed to have no secrets between its members.
Well, it's about time I went home then.
Oh, already? Didn't Setsuna say her seminar would end in another 30 minutes, though?
It's fine. She's just my sister. We see each other every day anyway.
Right. If not for the fact that he's related to her, I imagine the guys here would beat him up for saying that.
I have to stop by a classmate's house after this anyway. I guess I shouldn't have taken up the role of class rep in the first place.
Yeah, I've had to deal with that plenty of times. What with taking the printouts to the absentees and all.
She hasn't attended school even once since the end of the winter break, so she's at risk of not being able to graduate. And to think that she's already secured a recommendation to Hosho University.
Oh? And who might that be? This all started out as a completely casual conversation. However, upon hearing the phrase, she's not attending school even once, and a recommendation to Hosho University, I felt rather uneasy somehow. I feel as if I've heard those words before, and only just recently at that.
Even if you ask who it is, it's not like you'd know if I just gave you the name of one of my classmates, Kitahara-san.
No, the thing is, back when I was a teacher in prep school, there were quite a few students from the third year of Hosho High. I was just wondering if it could be one of my former students. I knew that what I just spewed out in the spur of the moment sounds rather deceitful. It's just that it was the best way I could put it, so I wouldn't specify a certain someone that I'm particularly worried about.
Ah, so that's the case. Now that you mention it, our first-term class rep seems to know about you as well, Koharu-san.
Then could it be that the one who hasn't come recently is that first-term class rep? Something suddenly clicked somewhere in my mind. I was reminded of how Sugiura Koharu annoyingly meddlesome front had disappeared following the end of the winter break, and how she's oddly dispirited ever since. I still don't know whether she's like this because she's feeling unwell, or if I'm simply imagining it. However, if she really hasn't been able to go to school up until now, she really must be unwell in some way, as I thought.
No, you're wrong. It's a girl called Yada Mihoko. Well, she was quite frail to begin with.
Yada-san. At that moment, I felt something click in my mind. However, the source of the sound was just the slightest bit different from what I initially anticipated. January 22nd, Saturday.
I'm sorry. Seems like she's not feeling well today either.
I see.
Would you like to pass on a message?
No, thank you. I believe the homeroom teacher and the class rep did come visit yesterday, so...
Yeah, it was about her graduation, right? We talked about that too, but I'm not sure whether she can attend next week. Say, Sugiura-san, will Mihoko really be unable to graduate? And to think that she's already acquired a recommendation for the university.
No, I don't think that will be the case.
Mihoko has good grades and she's aiming for a private university after all, so I imagine there'll be room to accommodate her.
I hope so. The homeroom teacher said it might be quite difficult for her yesterday.
Suwa-senpai always exaggerates things. I'm sure everything will be alright.
Really? Thank you so much for looking out for Mihoko all the time. I'm really grateful to you, Sugiura-san. I hope you'll continue getting along with Mihoko from now on, okay? She chose to sign up for the literature department because she wanted to stay with you, you know? It was supposed to be a secret, though.
Yes? We'll always be together.
Thank you. Goodbye, then.
Don't give up. I have to get to work.
Good morning.
Uh?
I feel sorry for calling out to Sugiura in her current state, but she didn't notice me at all, despite how I've been within her line of sight for a while.
Why?
I heard from Takahiro-kun.
Oh? So you really do get along with the entire family, huh? I'm sorry. I just said something I shouldn't have.
Despite having immediately corrected herself, Sugiura's words were undeniably and uncharacteristically spiteful. Perhaps she's confused about how to proceed with our conversation due to my completely unexpected appearance here. I heard about how Yado-san hasn't come to school ever since New Year's, as well as how her prospects for graduation are rather unclear despite how she's already been accepted to the university.
So, Ogaso also gave you Mihoko's address?
No, I've walked her home 2 or 3 times back when I was still teaching her at that prep school. I was answering a lot of her questions to the point where it was quite late in the evening.
2 or 3 times?
I've particularly had to deal with instances where Yada-san would occasionally ask me questions that she should have been able to answer on her own, given her level of comprehension. Though, now that I think about it, that was probably because she... Anyway, I finally understand.
What do you mean?
This is the reason why you came late last week. The reason why you've been feeling so down. And the reason why you still came to work despite that. It was because you came here in the morning, and she didn't even answer the doorbell, which caused you to be late, right? This place also happens to be in the exact opposite direction from Goody's, with the station situated in between. So, Sugiura must have wanted to pay her a short visit before work, but in the end, Yada-san refused to come out of her room, no matter how long she waited.
Correct. Was what I would have said, but only half of what you said is true.
Huh? Why?
She let me into her room last week. I was even able to talk to her. But I only ended up making things worse because I was too stubborn.
I had spent the entire night coming up with a theory I thought was near perfect. But in the end, not even my first assumption was correct.
Let's go back. If we don't hurry, we might not make it before opening time.
Sugiura. In the end, we arrived 10 minutes late together, which made Sato and the others suspect us even more.
Like I said, I didn't have any intentions like that. It was only so I could earn enough to pay for the graduation trip expenses. I'm telling you the truth, okay? And it was pure coincidence that Kitahara-senpai was there. He just happened to be working there. That's how he ended up as my trainer. You don't believe me.
Go on.
Yeah, thanks. You see, Senpai was supposed to have the day off that day. The truth is, he wasn't supposed to show up at the restaurant for a while. And I thought that our ties would have faded away from there.
I see.
But that day, Senpai suddenly showed up at the restaurant, and he was acting kind of strange. And you know that I couldn't have just left him alone like that, right, Mihoko?
I remember a similar situation between us when we first became friends.
Ah, I remember that. I believe it was when our class had to split into groups and you...
That's enough of that. I'd like to hear the rest of your explanation.
Right. Well, he ran away all of a sudden, so I panicked and chased after him while still in my uniform, all the way to the front of the station.
At first, I couldn't believe my eyes that it was you there, Koharu-chan. But the face, the physique, and the hair all matched you.
Who'd spend a winter night by the station dressed like that? It still makes me embarrassed whenever I remember it.
But I knew it was you from the way you ran. You ran in the same way you did during PE, and while you were in the tennis club, as if you were a leaping antelope. So fast, and yet so elegant. Mihoko? Seriously, thruple again would have solved their problems. Kind of feels like Mihoko might have a crush on Koharu as well. Just saying. And then you caught up to Sensei and sat next to him so boldly, which was very much like you, Koharu-chan. Like I said, we were just talking for a little bit back then. Since you were watching, shouldn't you understand? Yeah. After hanging up with me, you parted with Sensei and immediately disappeared into the station.
I went straight home after that. So look, Mihoko, there's nothing for you to worry about, right?
Then why did you lie? You said you were still at work and that you had to get back to work?
Sorry. Any answer to that would just be an excuse.
Koharu-chan.
Yeah, I lied to you, Mihoko. I hurt you. I do admit that.
So, you do admit it. You admit that you lied to me.
That's because I think what we're going to do from now on is more important. Still, it's not something a liar should say.
What we're going to do from now on?
I'll make it up to you. I'll do everything I can to make you forgive me. Because I definitely hate if our friendship... Because I definitely hate it if our friendship was ruined over this. We are going to graduate soon and attend the same university after that. We're really close friends. I'll be really sad if our friendship breaks here. What about you, Mihoko? Do you feel the same way anymore?
That's...
Yeah?
I want to believe you, Koharu-chan. I want us to go to school together again. I want us to attend the same university. Thank you, Mihoko. That's why I want to believe you. I really want to. It would make me so happy if we could swear to never lie to each other again.
Yeah, let's swear on it. That's why, Mihoko.
Koharu-chan, you're still hiding something, right? About Sensei. You know why Sensei was feeling down, right? The truth is, you have something to do with it, right, Koharu-chan?
Mihoko?
You've come to discover a lot of things that have nothing to do with me. About Sensei's secrets, haven't you? After all, you're very good at listening to people, Koharu-chan. I'm nothing like you at all in that regard.
That's,
Hey, if we're best friends, then tell me everything. Tell me everything you talked about with Sensei.
everything?
What kind of person is he? What does he think about? What dreams does he have? What about his family? What was he like as a child? Have you ever seen his childhood photos? What kind of person does he like? On Christmas night, what was Sensei bothered about? What kind of story did he tell you? Am I able to help with his troubles? Can I make up with Sensei? I know he said something terrible to me, but even I still... Koharu-chan?
That's impossible, Mihoko. I can't tell you that. There's no way I can.
Why? But you said you would make it up to me, Koharu-chan. You said you'd do anything you can.
I see. This is what it takes to be honest to absolutely everyone. I guess I still have a long way to go.
What are you saying?
Hey, Mihoko, I don't want to lie to anyone anymore.
I can't lie to anyone anymore.
Yeah, that's what you promised before, so...
And there is someone other than you, Mihoko, who I don't want to hurt anymore.
Do you mean...
In that case, I have no choice but to shut my mouth. Sorry.
about Sensei?
I said I can't tell you that, right?
You want to break our promise already?
This is not a lie. I'm just not telling you. If I'm not allowed to lie, then that's all I can do?
Koharu-chan.
That's enough for today. Any more than this is impossible. Let's meet again when we both have calmed down, okay? I'll go back home for today. If possible, go to school Sorry. That's not what I should be saying right now. See ya.
Liar.
That's not true.
Koharu-chan, you're a liar.
From now on, I will not lie anymore.
Then why?
Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, I am actually one that advocates friends are more important than a romantic partner, especially if you have had the friends longer than the partner. However, that operates on the assumption that the romantic partner is the one making the ultimatum. This case, however, is a bit more difficult because it is the friend getting jealous. And Koharu knows how Yada feels. In this case, I would still side with Mihoko over Haruki, but the margin would be a lot slimmer.